Do you guys know what the marriage rate in Korea is for those that are in their 20s? In 2025, it's 4%. So among everybody from 20 until 29 that's living in Korea, only 4% is married. So 96% not married. That is extremely low ratio. Almost nobody around you is married. And the rate is also not that different for those that are in 30s. It doesn't go up significantly in 30s either. If we look at it a little bit more in detail, now this is a difference between male and female. You guys know how girls tend to marry a little bit earlier than guys do? As a result, Korean guys, literally Korean men in their 20s, which is me, guys, we're talking about me right here. Korean men in their 20s, 97% is unmarried. There's 3% that is currently married in their 20s. By the way, this is including 29. So the average for girls is 93% and it averaged to 96. So girls is a little bit less bad, but it's still terrible. And why is this marriage rate so crucial to Korea? I'm sure you guys have heard. Have you guys watched any videos that talks about Korea's birth rate going down? I've also seen multiple of those videos. Korea is going to extinct all of those. Well, think about it, guys. How are you going to give birth if you're not going to get married? Obviously, you are able to give birth even if you don't get married. In countries like European countries, there's a lot of couples who are willing to have kids and have a family, simply just not be under this category of marriage. But you guys know Korea is a very conservative country, so it is very unlikely for Korea to do such thing where someone have a child without a marriage. Now we take a look at Korea's birth rate. This is how fast Korea's birth rate is declining. If you look at it right here, until 2015-ish, it was bad. Okay, 1.24 is still bad, but right from there, we start declining insanely, and around 2023 we hit our lowest, which is 0.72. I think at one point it was even 0.6, and now we came up to 0.75, just a little bit. You know, we're doing a little bit better. What do you think this number 1.23, 0.75, like, it doesn't really hit us, right? If birth rate goes down, the population is going to go down. That's a very obvious thing. But how fast is the population going to go down? So I actually calculated it out. Currently, Korea has around 40 to 50 million population. At this rate, if we keep this work up, if we keep this non-marriage, non-birth giving up, then by year 2072, we're going to go down to 10 million. By the year 2532, there's going to be 1 Korean left. The birth rate declining is not even just like a little issue of, oh, the economy is going to go bad, blah, blah, blah. Guys, we're literally not going to exist if this keep up. And you guys know everything in a country, whether money-wise or labor-wise, runs with people power. That's why countries like India and China is also like a rising in power because they have so many population. Actually, China is on a little bit of different story recently. Let me just say India. It's not even will Korea go extinct. We're actually already confirmed. We will go extinct. Yes, no more K-pop. You guys know you love K-pop, you love Korean dramas. Who's gonna make K-pop if Korea doesn't exist? Who's gonna become the next idol if there's no kids? I don't know if you guys have noticed. Actually, I have also noticed sort of, I think the term aging is bad, but because there's less new kids in Korea, the idol scene is a little bit skewing towards the older age nowadays. Moving on, so we compare the birth rate with marriage rate. If you look at the Korea's crude marriage rate, that's the percentage who is not married, and we look at the fertility rate. You see how as the marriage rate goes down, obviously the fertility rate, which is the birth rate, will also go down. Because obviously you're not going to have a child in Korea if you're not going to get married. And if we compare the fertility rate with other countries, I don't know if you guys have heard OECD. These are basically, like the well-doing countries like US and, other European, Korea, Japan, China. If you combine these countries, there's a group of countries called OECD. So globally, every well-developed country is generally experiencing a decline in birth rate. But it's just that Korea is declining so fast. So this is not simply a Korea issue. This is going to eventually happen to other countries like US and Japan and all of that. It's just that you're seeing it in a fast forward pace. So this is the marriage rate in the US. And it's actually, this is the unmarriage rate. So in 2025, about 85% of those who are in 20s aren't married. And 15% they are currently married. Compared to Korea's 4%, that's about like 3 to 4 times higher. And we compare the two of them. The graph looks a little weird, but US used to have a higher unmarried rate, but Korea kind of surpassed them insanely a lot. Like, why? Like, all of this, these are all showing and proving that Korean people aren't getting married. Why do you guys think Korean people are not getting married? Well, obviously, there's multiple reasons. Is living in Korea that expensive? It could be an economy thing. Did you guys know more than 50% of Korea's population live in Seoul? So Korea, even though it looks like a country, is similar to countries like Singapore and Taiwan, where they behave more as a city country rather than a regular country. And Seoul, which is the capital of Korea, if you compare with other cities like Hong Kong or Singapore, New York, their housing price is going up extremely fast. This is a very sensitive topic in Korea, so if I mention this wrong, some people in Korea might be like, oh, are you saying this government is bad? You know, this government did bad. Again, I'm politically neutral. I'm just pointing out that Korea house price has been going up a lot. This is an average apartment price in Korea. You can't read the numbers because it's written in Korean won. Did you guys know the average Korean apartment price, this is not currently up to date, but in 2021, the average is, let me see if I'm getting this right, 1.1 million? That's the average price. 1.1 million. Is average meaning there's houses that are more expensive and less expensive? Yeah, 1.1 million was the average apartment price of Korea in 2021. So now it's 2025. I'm guessing it's probably up to 1.3 million, which is insane. Guys, we're not even talking about good, luxurious apartment. We're talking about if we average out entire apartment price in Korea, the price is 1.1 million. So with all of these, it kind of sounds like because the house is so expensive, people aren't able to get married, right? But now, here is a little bit of my personal opinion. A lot of people are pointing out and saying the reason why people aren't getting married is because the house is too expensive and living in Korea is too expensive, blah, blah, blah. But is it really the price? Is it really the money? I don't think so. Guys, historically, people have lived since caveman days. People have reproduced in caves. People get married, fall in love, and do all of that during wartime. You know, during World War, during anything, depression, anything. People always reproduce and love throughout entire history. I actually don't think the reason why Korea's marriage rate is going down and birth rate is going down is because they lack something. It's not because they lack money. It's not because they lack other things. Well, obviously, here's the thing. That's true. It is true, but I don't think that's the crucial reason. I think the crucial reason is because they have already been satisfied. It's not the things that, oh, like I can't buy the house, therefore I can't get married. It's not that. It's more of, why should I get married when I already have this? Why should I get married when I'm already happy? All the news, they only talk about economics, social problem, cultural problem of like what's making them not. What I think is really lacking is the do's, you know, like why would you want to get married? It's because you actually enjoy being with that person and you love that person and you want to spend the rest of their life with that person, right? But I'm saying that's the part that is actually missing out. The romantic want to build a family with someone else. And I think it's the same question. You ask someone, why are you single? I'm sure a lot of you guys that are watching this right now, most of you guys are single. Why are you single? There's so many reasons. Obviously, you could say all the reason. You don't have to agree, but this is my personal opinion. I gotta be a little bit careful before I say this because this might be a little bit controversial. You're single because either the guys aren't attractive enough for you or you aren't attractive enough for the other person. If you happen to be Chaonu or if Chaonu happened to love you, would you be single? The reason why I brought this up is the recent Korean TV shows. I don't know if you guys watch any of the recent Korean TV shows. Singles Inferno. I don't know what this one is called in English. There are so many famous Netflix shows where they talk about Korean love, Korean dating. And guys, look at these people here. Every single one of these guys have 6-packs and every single one of them look like freaking webtoon characters. And the girls, let me not even mention, they all, okay, I'm not here to talk about like, oh, they're all plastic surgery and blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. Guys, these are just very, very attractive people. And these are just very few people in the population. But these shows are so popular in Korea. What do you think is going to happen when you watch these shows 24/7? You're going to see these six-pack guys and all of these beautiful girls, and you go outside, you go to your work, and you look at your coworker. Are you really able to fall in love with your coworker knowing there are guys out there who have six-packs with beautiful face and beautiful hair? I'm not trying to blame anyone for like having high standards. What I'm saying is Korean media is naturally leading the Korean people to have a higher standard in other romantic partners. Look isn't everything, but at the same time, like, you know, watching these shows almost make you feel like there are so many of these attractive people out there. It's just inevitably going to higher your standards. But this is just my personal insight. Why would you want to marry someone when you could come back from work, order fried chicken, and drink some beer, and watch a Netflix show where we know six-pack guys, K-pop demon hunters? There's so many fun things to do. There is so many entertaining things to do in Korea by yourself or with your friends. So when you have all of this entertainment, why get married to a guy who doesn't have a six-pack, who doesn't seem like he also isn't deeply in love with you and all of that? So the conclusion is Korea's birth rate and marriage rate is going down insanely fast. And a lot of people is pointing out saying that this is economic issue because people don't have enough money, because people can't afford this and that. I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is because, those are possibly one of the factors, but I think the bigger issue is the fact that our standards are getting higher and we aren't satisfied. We are already satisfied with what we have and we aren't satisfied with what's out there. That's my personal opinion. And how are we going to fix this? I don't know. I don't think there's a fix to this. I'm just kind of telling you guys what's up.